welcome in. I'm your host, Anthony, and this is the Heroclix channel. Now, in honor of the new Superman movie coming out next week, I wanted to do a Big Tony's top 5 Superman Heroclix. Now, if you can't already tell by the name of this channel, by the gear, by the tattoo, I'm a huge Superman fan, and I am super. See what I did? Excited for this movie coming out. I've heard some people say that they think it's going to be a little bit goofy or silly, but the truth is Superman is supposed to be a little bit corny. If you've watched any of the animated movies or comics, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies is a perfect example. Superman is supposed to have a sense of humor. He's not always supposed to be, super stoic. And I think a huge part of nailing the character of Superman in live action is focusing on the Clark Kent persona, because that's who he actually is. And it seems like in this movie, they're going to be giving Superman a sense of humor. He's still going to be, a heroic superhero, but they're going to be focusing a little more on the Clark Kent Lois Lane relationship. So that gives me high hopes for this movie. But let me know, comment below, are you excited for this movie, or do you lean more on the looks a little bit goofy, silly side of things? But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. Top 5 Superman and Heroclix. So here are some ground rules. Number 1, I'm going to be focusing, or at least try to focus more on newer versions or newer Heroclix of Superman. I think the oldest version I even talk about is from Trinity War, so hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of what I'm going for here. And the other thing is that this is a Superman video. So I'm talking about Clark Kent, Kal-El, Superman. We're not talking about other variations that aren't Clark, Kal-El. So, without further ado, let's get to Clixin. Big Tony's Top 5 Superman. Number 5. Starting off our list at number 5 is Superman from the Justice League Unlimited starter set. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit biased towards this Superman. This click is based off of one of my all-time favorite Superman scenes. Plus, I grew up watching the Justice League and JLU cartoons. So, starting off with this founding members trait, this will give you a +2 to movement if you have 4 or more characters with the Justice League keyword, meaning he could potentially have a 12 hypersonic at top dial. And the second part of that trait allows you to get a +1 to your action total for every character that has the founding members trait, but only if you have 6 or more characters on your team. In my opinion though, his second trait is what makes him really good. What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose. This gives him super strength, free. Place Superman adjacent to an opposing character he knocked back at least 1 square this turn, then make a close attack targeting that character. First off, every Superman should have super strength traded in my opinion. Plus, it's pretty great anytime you can attack twice with the character. But this is a little bit better than a regular flurry, since you just might get to do some knockback damage as well. Last, his special defense power, and show you how powerful I really am, will make sure he can tank some damage, giving him back-to-back stop clicks and invulnerability and super senses. The only downside is when he's on those clicks, he can no longer heal past them. Keywords: Justice League, Kryptonian, and Metropolis. Here are some critical hits. He has super movement at top dial with hypersonic speed of 10 or possibly 12. He's a great attacker, being able to attack twice and potentially deal knockback damage twice. He has some great reducers, and 2 stop clicks makes him a little harder to KO easily. He has 2 different point values, allowing for some great team building. And he's only like $5 on eBay right now. Here are some cons. No range for Superman, that's kind of a letdown. He has bad mobility on his lower point value with only sidestep. His keywords aren't that great, and he can't heal when he gets those stop clicks. Here are some notable pairings. Stormbreaker from Smash and Destroy. This would make his knockback penetrating, making sure you could deal damage to most characters with his second trait. Hell Cycle from Wheels of Vengeance or Silver Surfer Surfboard from Future Foundation. It's the same idea for both of these equipment. If you use Superman on his lower point value at 60, giving him hypersonic speed with his printed sidestep will give him some great mobility. Waldo arms from Absolute Carnage or the Ock arms from Earth X. Same idea here also. They both give him giant reach in case you wanted a little extra range, and they also could both allow him to get in one more attack. And last, the Martian Manhunter from this starter set as well is a great way to get around the mobility issue on his lower value. He allows you to move a friendly character with 1 or 0 action tokens that shares a keyword up to half their movement. Number 4. Landing at number 4 on our list is the Elseworlds Chase Superman. This Superman has such a dynamic sculpt, but he's not exactly a good guy. This is a Superman who blindly lets the government control him, starting with his trait, a symbol of authority and obedience. It says, at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On 5 through 6, until your next turn, Superman has protected outwit and opposing probability. On 3 through 4, you may remove an action token from him. On a 1, he has immobile until your next turn. So, most likely, he either will have protection from opposing prob and outwit, or you get to remove an action token from him, unless you roll that darn 1. Next, he starts off with a special speed power. We must not remind them that giants walk the earth, giving him charge, or if he starts his turn in hindering terrain, a full charge of 11. Last, towards the end of his dial, he gets a special damage power, solar power stored by a suffering world, essentially giving him a free regen as long as he occupies printed outdoor hindering terrain. Keywords: Kryptonian, Metropolis, Politician, and Reporter. Here are some critical hits. He has full map charge if you have him start in hindering terrain. He has potential protection from outwit and opposing prop, potential to remove tokens from himself, and the potential for a free regen. And last, this guy is really stronger than a locomotive, hitting for 13 attack and 5 damage at top dial, or 12 attack for 4 damage on his lower dial. Here are some critical misses. 230 points is a lot of points to pay for a character. He's still going for around 40 to 60 bucks on eBay. His stats fall off really bad at the end of his dial. He doesn't have great keywords. And last, you really need an outdoor map with a lot of hindering to play him at his best. Here are some notable pairings. Number 1, the right map. Like I said, you need an outdoor map with tons of hindering. Major Logan could also be a really cool combo. You'll never have to roll a 1 for his special power. And last, any character that can generate hindering terrain markers like Smoke Cloud, so you can make sure Superman is always starting in hindering terrain for that full charge. Number 3. Coming in at number 3 on our list is an evil version of the Man of Steel. Superman from Notorious is what happens when you push Superman over the edge. Right off the bat, he has a trait I'd like to see more Superman have. Well, maybe not the name, but at least the ability that it gives. His trait, I'll crush you like the others, says Superman deals penetrating damage. So now, you don't have to worry about reducers, except for Neck. His special speed power is what makes him a real problem. Justice requires order. This says charge. Once per turn, when another friendly character is damaged by an attack, after resolutions, you may place Superman adjacent to the attacker. If you do, Superman has immune until your next turn. So, you have a way to move an attack normally. However, if someone damages a friendly character, now Superman can be moved from anywhere else on the map and you can't do anything about it. Last, his special damage power, One Earth Regime, says leadership. When Superman uses it and succeeds, he may instead remove an action token from himself and have all friendly characters modify attack by +1. So, not only can he remove action tokens from himself, but he can also modify your whole team's attack by +1, giving you an edge on some turns. Keywords: Kryptonian, Justice League, Metropolis, Sinestro Corps, and Ruler. Here are some critical hits. He's not too expensive, going for around $20 on eBay. This Superman finally has some decent keywords. He deals penetrating damage traded. He can potentially be placed across the map. He can gain immune during the game, and he's able to modify your whole team's attack by +1. Here are some critical misses. He's still a lot of points for most modern games. He loses his special speed power after just a few clicks. Here are some notable pairings. Sinestro Core Ring is an easy one. He gets to equip it for free. Also, the Enchanted Ball and Chain from the Mighty Thor. This would be a really fun equipment to give him. This would allow him to use Quake, but deal his printed damage. So at top dial, you could potentially deal 5 penetrating damage to multiple characters. Number 2. Coming in as the runner-up on our list is Superman from Justice League Unlimited. This Superman is a ton of fun to play. I feel like he really never got his chance to shine in Pulp, since he got rotated out just a few months after the Pulp format came out. However, I think if he was in modern Pulp today, he would be an absolute monster. Starting off with his Boom Tube travel trait, this allows him to use phasing once per game, moving up to 12 squares, and you get to remove an action token from him after resolutions. This is a great way to position him to attack next turn, or if things are starting to get a little dicey, get him out of harm's way. His next trait, 7 Decades Under a Yellow Sun, gives him super strength and protected outwit, except against characters who are a higher point value than him or have the Superman enemy team ability. I think this is a trait that makes a lot of sense for Superman. First off, traded super strength should be a must-add for any Superman. Also, other characters really shouldn't be able to counter the Man of Steel unless they are more powerful or know his weakness. Next, his special attack power, Seismic Slam, is pretty great. This gives him Quake, but if he targets more than one character, he could deal out 4 damage to everyone instead of 2. Talk about a super Quake. Last, his special defense power, the Never Ending Battle, says stop. Invulnerability. When Superman clears 2 action tokens, heal him 1 click. These 3 back-to-back stop clicks at the end of his dial make him incredibly hard to KO. Keywords: Justice League, Kryptonian, Metropolis, Celebrity, and Future. Here are some critical hits. He's only going for $5 to $10 on eBay right now. He has great mobility and range. He has protected outwit. He has either invints or stop clicks his entire dial. He can Quake for 4 damage. And he has 3 stop clicks that help you to heal. Here are some critical misses. 175 points is a lot of points to pay for 1 click. He goes down to a 17 defense on his lower dials. The keywords are better than most of the other Supermans, but still not great. Here are some notable pairings. The Wrecking Ball from Smash and Destroy. This would be a great equipment to pair with his Super Quake, giving you giant reach for only 5 points. Destroyer Armor from Smash and Destroy. If you're willing to pay the points, this also gives him giant reach and +2 to his defense, making him that much harder to hit and solving the issue of him dropping down to a 17 defense. Stormbreaker from Collector's Trove. This makes him more offensive, giving him close combat expert, and when he deals knockback from his Quake, characters are dealt penetrating damage from the knockback. All Black the Necrosword from Absolute Carnage. This will help you get through super senses and shape change and still gives you Giant Reef. Plus, characters can reduce damage below 1, meaning when you knock them back, they have to at least take 1 click of knockback damage. The Enchanted Crowbar from the Mighty Thor. This is a great one to make sure you are dealing all your damage no matter what, giving you exploit weakness and taking away invincible. Now before we get to our number 1 spot, here are some honorable mentions. Prince Kal-El. I think overall this is a great version of Superman, but his trait, you don't look like a monster, you just look scared. Making all characters be only able to take a max of 3 damage is what drops him out of the top 5. Next, the new 52 version of Superman from Trinity War is also pretty great. I actually went back and forth on adding him to one of the top 5 on this list. He has some great powers, but you never actually get to use them at the same time, and for that reason, he falls short of the top 5. Cyborg Superman. This Superman's ability to be able to count range and draw lines of fire from characters who are equipped or have the robot keyword can potentially give him a map-wide access from the starting area. But he's not Clark, so he doesn't make the list. Superman Iconics. This is one of the most iconic versions of Superman of all time. His sculpt is amazing, and he's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, they made him more of a sacrifice piece to help trigger all the effects from the other characters that are in this iconic set, instead of really making him be able to stand out on his own. For that reason, he doesn't make the list. And our last honorable mention is the world's finest legacy piece. This is probably one of my favorite clicks of all time, if not my favorite. I love me a Superman and Batman team up. Playing him at 60 points is a no-brainer for everything he can do. He's cheap to add to your team and does pretty much everything you want a Superman to do. He would actually be my number 1 choice for this list, except technically, he's not Superman, he's Superman and Batman. Number 1. Landing at the number 1 spot on our list is Superman from the 2025 starter set. My friends like to call this guy Machine Gun Superman, because if you play him right, you can get off multiple attacks. But we'll get there. Let's start off with this trait, Man of Steel. This says Super Strength. Superman can't be knocked back, and can reduce penetrating damage. This honestly feels like this should be a standard power for every Superman. And I love that he has it. Next, his special speed power is what makes this Superman truly special. More powerful than a locomotive. Flurry. When Superman moves, after resolutions, he may make a ranged attack or use Flurry as free. So the key word here is move. Anytime this guy moves, he loads up a range attack or a free Flurry. So just on his own, you could have him move up to 8 squares and do a ranged attack without having to cut his range, or Flurry as free. However, if you want to really make him do some damage, you can manipulate the move game mechanic here by pairing him with some equipment or characters that can move him, triggering this power every time, allowing him to make another attack. Keywords: Justice League, Kryptonian, Metropolis, and Reporter. Here are some critical hits. He's only 75 points, which is pretty cheap for a Superman. He can reduce penetrating damage. He has traded super strength, and he can attack multiple times. Here are some critical misses. Unfortunately, the only way to really buy this Superman is by buying the entire starter set, which is roughly 30 to 50 bucks on eBay right now. He has no protection from outwit, so you could just outwit his defense. And he only deals 3 damage. Here are some notable pairings. The Diana Chase from Masters of Time. This is almost a must-add for me on any team with this Superman. She does a few things for him. If you attack with her first, she can place him adjacent to her, allowing him to close the distance from across the map. Next, she has an ability that when a friendly character with the Kryptonian keyword makes an attack, they can use Sidestep. Meaning after you attack with Superman, you can use Sidestep, which is a move, that would trigger his power, allowing him to attack again. Next, any characters that can move him. Some examples are Arrow, Peacemaker, or the Martian Manhunter we mentioned earlier. Last but not least, the Hell Cycle from Wheels of Vengeance or the Silver Surfer Surfboard from Future Foundation to give him hypersonic. This will allow him to make 3 attacks. Using hypersonic speed allows you to move, attack, then move. So you get to do your regular attack via hypersonic speed. Then, after resolutions, since Superman moved twice from hypersonic, he would get to attack an additional 2 times. And that wraps up this episode of the Heroclix channel. Please comment below, let me know if you agree with the top 5, or if you think your favorite Superman HeroClix was snubbed somehow. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it does help the channel grow. And until next time, keep clixing.